Monday Night Raw, like I touched on earlier, it was a good show. It was a lot better than last week. Definitely, it had some highs. Definitely, it had some lows. If you think about Brock Lesnar, not being there, he's gonna be there on Monday this week. John Cena had a series of promos going up against Paul Heyman. These were really, really good. John Cena came out there and gave a promo about what it's like to be John Cena, and he likes putting smiles on fans' faces. He understands that the little kids might love him, and their older adults might hate him, but deep down he knows that they respect him. He knows that he loves putting smiles on soldiers' faces and giving them a reason to fight. He loves helping the Make-A-Wish kids and everything like that. But Paul Heyman, basically gave the formula. This is how you beat Brock Lesnar, John, is that you have to go and find your evil side. This is something that's been haunting John for a while. It seems like they're in a rut, and every time they get in this rut with John Cena of trying to build a storyline for him, they try to play to the internet's hand of, why is John Cena never turned heel? John Cena was a heel back on SmackDown when he first started the rapping gimmick, and then shortly after winning the United States Championship, we saw a big face turn from him. The battle with Carlito when he got stabbed in the nightclub back in the day, and he went through winning the United States Championship. He was able to get it back from Carlito. Then he would go on. He would lose it to Jordan, but he beat JBL at WrestleMania. And then it just keeps building. He goes on. He beats Triple H. He beats Shawn Michaels. He beats Batista. John Cena's career has just been huge, and it almost sort of resembles Hulk Hogan's when you think about it. Hulk Hogan, when he first came into WWF back in the day, he wore the yellow cape. He was the bad guy, and then he left for a little while. He went and became a big star in Japan. He had some big days wrestling for the AWA. That's where Hulkamania really was born, and then he came to Vince McMahon in the WWF, and that's where they had him beat the Iron Sheik at the Madison Square Garden, and Hulkamania was pushed 10 times stronger than it ever was. It was the red and yellow, and for years, even the dying days, Vince never wanted to turn Hulk Hogan heel. He never believed it would work. If you go back and you watch the last days of basically, especially the Royal Rumble where Ric Flair got the win, when Sid Justice came and dumped Hulk Hogan out, you can just hear the crowd pop, and it's not from the surprise of Hulk Hogan not winning, it's the cheers of not seeing the same damn thing year after year with Hogan winning the Rumbles in would that be 89 and 90? There was no, special, I guess you can say gimmick to go along with it. It wasn't like, when Ric Flair won it, he won the WWE Championship. It wasn't like when Yokozuna won, he became the first guy to go on to WrestleMania, become the #1 contender to go up against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10. Basically those Rumbles were just for buys, I guess you can say. If you look at the when Ric Flair was in the ring with Sid Justice and Hogan basically got dumped out of the Rumble. You just saw that the fans had enough of Hulk Hogan. They popped. They went crazy. They went bananas. It wasn't because, they knew that they were setting up for a match at WrestleMania between Sid and Hogan. It was the fact that they were getting something fresh. Somebody finally was not going to be champion besides for Hulk Hogan. Of course, that was all set up because of the match with The Undertaker at Survivor Series in Tuesday in Texas, with Hogan actually losing the championship. But then, of course, Hogan would come back at WrestleMania 9. Basically, business wasn't going the way it was supposed to be going, so Vince went with Hogan one more time because he thought that's what was going to be able to save his company. And, Hogan came back, he won the title. Then he would leave again after the King of the Ring. He would go to WCW after being talked into coming back to wrestling for a looser schedule of only having to work a couple dates, which basically got blown up with Monday Nitro being started. And Hulk Hogan being one of the big focuses of that show. But then again, Hogan was on the first 2 episodes of Nitro, and I was really sort of surprised by that because I knew that he had to have some sort of a killer contract. That I knew they were paying him a lot to have those shows. One of them to come out there and wrestle against the Big Boss Man, and the next one he fought against Lex Luger. And then, of course, after War Games, he was injured by the Giant, and he would do. He wouldn't be on the 3rd show, and then he did a pre-tape interview on the 4th, but told everybody he was going to be there for the next week's episode in Denver for a face-to-face with the Giant after the Giant beat up the Macho Man on week 4. I haven't seen 5, so that's where I am watching those on the network. But basically, it was Eric Bischoff's genius idea. I don't know if he thought it would really work or if he was just pulling at straws, trying to get anything that was going to save his job because maybe he just felt he wasn't really delivering on what he promised Ted Turner back in the day. But Hogan turning heel definitely turned WCW's woes around. They went from being the second-rate company to having Vince McMahon look up at them, and basically he kicked some sand in Vince's eyes on the way, and he took over. It was I think a 2-year run. I should know by now by watching all these episodes of the WWE versus WCW Monday Night Wars documentaries that are on the WWE Network. They're a lot of fun, but basically that's what the internet wants from John Cena. I don't think it's everybody, but there's a lot of people out there begging because they want to see something fresh. They want to see something new. On my way to this year's Night of Champions, I watched the past year's Night of Champions to sort of get in the mood of seeing what was going down. And you go back to Night of Champions when Mark Henry beat Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Henry was a heel, and he got the biggest pop of the night just because it was something fresh. We were seeing, Mark Henry become World Heavyweight Champion. I don't think it's the fact that he had a lot of fans in the crowd that really respected him, because I think a lot of people make the sexual chocolate jokes for Mark, and I don't think there's a lot of respect behind those jokes. It's sort of pointing your finger at him. I just, he's had a long career, but I don't think Mark Henry has a lot of fans. You definitely don't see a lot of people buying Mark Henry T-shirts and things like that. But I don't think we'll ever see a John Cena heel turn, but that was definitely what the focus is of the night was from there. Sheamus and Cesaro, I can't remember seeing them on them build up their match on Raw. If they did, it wasn't memorable. I know that they were on main event this week. Ziggler and Miz, I guess they're going with the comedy for this. I think that this would be really good if Ziggler and Miz just sort of went for a straight wrestling match. See who the better wrestler is. Instead, we had Ziggler coming out and talking about photos that have been stolen off the Miz's phone. Basically the Miz shaving his body, and there's just stupid things like that. And I know that they've added Damian Sandow as the stunt crash dummy, I guess you can say, of the Miz. That's fun. It's good. It's not great, but Ziggler and Miz, when they go out there, they can just have a good wrestling match. That's all I'm really looking for. The whole fiasco with the Bellas, which was basically a big old commercial to watch Total Divas involving Jerry Springer, that was a joke. I mean, the only people that really had to pay for that segment was the fans. It wasn't good. I don't think anybody was like, man, I really want to see Brie wrestle Nikki now. I know that if they do have a match, the only thing I can really hope for is some sort of a match where it was like the ECW stuff. The reason why I really wanted to see Brie versus Stephanie, because I thought we were going to see an ECW-style catfight. I'm not even 100% really sure if I really want to see this match. I think that the SummerSlam match was really pushed by seeing Stephanie McMahon in the ring for the first time in 10 years. So we'll have to see where they go from there. Shame for Jerry Springer. WWE got a lot of publicity out of the deal that Springer had to be... I guess you can say wheeled out on a gurney because he broke his ankle. I haven't even heard if that was real or if it was fake. I'm guessing that it was fake, but it looked pretty real, whatever it was. Nikki turning on Brie at the pay-per-view was granted a title shot. She's going to be going up against Paige and AJ. How she's able to win this one, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like Stephanie McMahon has sort of attached herself to Nikki, making her, one of the, the authority figures, or, being in that inner circle, much like how Triple H has stapled himself to Randy Orton and stapled himself to Seth Rollins. So I'm not quite sure if Stephanie's going to help Nikki win this or just give her the title shot, and that's going to be it. But Paige and AJ, hopefully they can pick up the load on this one. Of course, they still hate each other and love each other at the same time. Mark Henry, we just talked about, is going to be going up against Rusev to support the good old US of A. It was nice to see Nikolai Volkov involved with Monday Night Raw. I haven't seen or heard about him in a long time. He looks about the way I thought he was going to. The Usos are going to be going up against Goldust and Stardust. That's going to be a match. Chris Jericho had the awesome cage match going up against Bray Wyatt. I thought that was really fun. After the match, he was attacked by Bray Wyatt, and then after that, he was attacked by Randy Orton again. Randy Orton is going to be going up against Chris Jericho. That was I found out due to Chris Jericho's Instagram post. Jericho is going to give it a go. I think anybody in the world would bet the house against Jericho that this will be his last match. There's a lot of people thinking that Monday would be it for him, and he would be hanging his hat and riding off into the sunset. But we'll have to see, what goes down from here. That definitely should be a match. It was one that I was really hoping for a while. It seems to me that they're going in the direction of Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, in my opinion, a little bit too fast. I know that Dean Ambrose got killed by the, I guess you can say, cinder blocks on Monday Night Raw, and Roman Reigns came down to try and save him by throwing the cinder block, trying to take out Seth Rollins. And it crushed on the turnbuckle. But honestly, I was hoping for a little bit more of a build-up. Roman Reigns having the big win over Randy Orton at SummerSlam. I know some people thought they were going to have another match along the way, but I guess they're going with Seth versus Roman already. It is what it is. Wouldn't be surprised if Roman kills him along the way.